You opened the property tax notice, or you looked at the Medicare line on your benefit statement, and the number went up again. Meanwhile, 9.1 million Americans over 65 are legally entitled to stop paying bills they are still paying in full. Turning 65 does not send you a letter. That is the entire problem. The National Council on Aging, working with the Urban Institute, updated its participation map in May of 2026. The estimate is that $58 billion in benefits go unclaimed every single year by people who already qualify. Not people who might qualify someday. People who qualify right now, today, and are simply not enrolled. $58 billion. And here is the number underneath that number, the one that changes how you hear the rest of this. 1 in 4 adults over 65 cuts back on food, utilities, clothing, or medication to absorb rising health costs. So this is not money sitting unclaimed because nobody needs it. It is sitting unclaimed because nobody is assigned to tell you it is there. I want to be precise about something before we go further, because a lot of channels are sloppy with this, and it costs viewers real money. There is a difference between a benefit that is automatic and a benefit that is owed to you the moment you claim it. Almost nothing in this video happens on its own. What the law actually does is create the entitlement and then wait. It waits for a form. It waits for a phone call. And if the form never arrives, the money quietly stays with the county or the state or the insurer, and your bill keeps arriving at full price. This is not hidden. It is just unannounced. There is one belief standing between most people watching this and several $1,000s a year, and I want to remove it in the next 30 seconds. The belief is I make too much to qualify. The National Council on Aging and AARP have both studied why eligible seniors do not claim these programs, and this assumption comes up over and over. People look at their Social Security deposit, do the arithmetic in their head, and disqualify themselves before they ever fill out a page. Most of the time, that arithmetic is wrong. Not slightly wrong. Wrong in a way that costs thousands of dollars. The reason is that these programs do not look at your gross deposit the way you do. Many of them subtract medical costs. Many subtract housing costs. Several states throw out the asset test entirely, and several set income limits well above the federal baseline. Connecticut runs limits roughly double the federal number for the same program. Alaska and Hawaii run higher too. So the person who says, I get $1,800 a month, I definitely don't qualify, is very often the exact person who does. Hold on to that, because it applies to 4 of the 5 bills coming up. We are going in order of what they are worth, smallest to largest. The last one is worth more than the first 4 combined for most households, and it is the one nearly everybody gets wrong, including the news coverage about it. Number 5 is your phone or internet bill. There is a federal program called Lifeline. It is not new, and it is not a pilot. The FCC created it in 1985, and it currently serves somewhere around 6 million households nationwide. It takes up to $9.25 off your monthly phone, internet, or bundled service. On qualifying tribal lands, that goes up to $34.25 a month, which in some cases covers the entire bill. You qualify one of 2 ways. Either your income sits at or below 135% of the federal poverty guidelines, or you already participate in a qualifying program. SNAP, Medicaid, Supplemental Security Income, Veterans Pension, or federal public housing assistance. Read that second list again because it matters more than the income test. If you are already on any one of those, you do not need to prove anything about your income. Your existing enrollment is the proof. And a very large number of people on Medicaid or SSI have never once been told that it entitles them to a discount on their phone. You apply at lifelinesupport.org. 1 benefit per household. Now, honesty, because I would rather you trust me than be impressed by me. This one is small. There was a bigger program, the Affordable Connectivity Program, that stacked another $30 a month on top of this. It ran out of funding and ended in 2024. Anyone telling you seniors get free internet from the government in 2026 is describing a program that no longer exists. Lifeline reduces the bill. It does not erase it. I am starting here anyway, and not because it is the biggest. I am starting here because it is the fastest, and because getting approved for it does something to the next 4 items that most people do not see coming. Number 4 is your prescription drug costs. If you have Medicare Part D, there is a federal subsidy called Extra Help, sometimes called the Low-Income Subsidy. It is run by the Social Security Administration, not by your drug plan, which is part of why your drug plan has never mentioned it to you. For 2026, the income limit sits at roughly $23,475 a year for an individual and about $31,725 for a couple. If you land under that, Extra Help can wipe out your Part D premium, wipe out your deductible, and cap what you pay at the pharmacy counter at around $5.10 for a generic and $12.65 for a brand-name drug. Per prescription, not per month. Per prescription, capped. If you are currently paying $40, $60, $100 for a brand-name maintenance drug, sit with that difference for a second. It is the same pharmacy, the same pill, the same plan. The only variable is a form the Social Security Administration is holding and has never mailed you. You apply free at ssa.gov/extrahelp. It costs nothing, and there is no agent involved. Anyone charging you to file it is running a scam. And now the part that connects this to everything else. If you qualify for the program I am about to describe, you are automatically enrolled in Extra Help. You do not apply twice. One application, 2 benefits. Which brings us to the single most valuable thing in this video, and the only item on this list where the word exempt is not a stretch. It is written into federal law, it is enforceable, and providers who violate it can be penalized. Number 3 is your Medicare Part B premium. In 2026, the standard Part B premium is $202.90 a month. That is $2,434.80 a year. And for most people, it comes straight out of the Social Security check before it ever lands in the bank. You never write that check. You just receive less. Which is exactly why it does not feel like a bill you could stop paying. It is. There are 4 programs called Medicare Savings Programs, run by your state's Medicaid office, but entirely separate from full Medicaid. 3 of them matter for most people watching. The federal baseline monthly income limits for 2026, and these already include the standard $20 disregard, so these are the real cutoffs. The Qualified Medicare Beneficiary Program, QMB, $1,350 a month for a single person, $1,824 for a couple. Resources under $9,950 single, $14,910 married. The Specified Low-Income Medicare Beneficiary Program, $1,616 single, $2,184 for a couple. And the Qualifying Individual Program, QI, $1,816 single, $2,455 for a couple. Those are the federal floors. Many states run higher, some have no asset limit at all, and Alaska, Hawaii, and Connecticut are meaningfully higher. Do not disqualify yourself off those 3 numbers. SLMB and QI both pay your Part B premium. That alone is the $2,434 back in your pocket every year. QMB does something else entirely. Under QMB, federal law prohibits Medicare providers and Medicare Advantage plans from billing you for Medicare cost sharing. Not discourages, prohibits. When Medicare pays its portion, the provider must accept that as payment in full. Your deductible, your coinsurance, your copays, you cannot legally be billed for them. And providers who send you a bill anyway can face penalties. That is what an actual exemption looks like. It is not a discount you negotiate. It is a line in federal law that says the bill is not yours. I have read a lot of policy in this area, and this specific protection is the one that genuinely bothers me because of how routinely it is broken. ChemB enrollees get billed all the time by offices that either do not check or do not care. If it happens to you, you report it to your state health insurance assistance program, your SHIP, or to your state Medicaid office. You are not being difficult. You are enforcing a federal rule. Now the number that should make you angry on someone else's behalf. Only 49% of eligible seniors are enrolled in these programs. Roughly 6.6 million people qualify and are not signed up. The average benefit runs about $165 a month, close to $2,000 a year, going unclaimed by people who in many cases are splitting pills to make a prescription last. You apply through your state Medicaid office. Before you do, call your local state health insurance assistance program. It is free, it is unbiased, they do not sell anything, and they will tell you which of the 4 programs to apply for, so you are not guessing on the form. Before we go to the 2 biggest items, I need to correct something because if I skip it, you will hear it somewhere else this week, and it will cost you. You have probably seen headlines saying the 2025 tax law eliminated taxes on Social Security. It did not. The law did not change how Social Security benefits are taxed. Not one word of it. What it actually did was create a separate deduction, which we will get to in a minute, and which is genuinely worth money. But the 2 things are not the same, and people who confuse them make real planning mistakes. They under-withhold, they take a larger IRA distribution than they should have, and they find out in April. I would rather tell you the smaller true thing than the bigger false one. That is the deal here. Number 2 is your property tax. Every single state in the country offers some form of additional property tax relief for seniors, stacked on top of whatever standard homestead exemption you may already have. Every state, and most of it requires you to apply, and nobody in the county office is going to call and tell you it exists. Here is why this is urgent right now rather than eventually. The median U.S. home price has climbed past $400,000 and assessments have followed. Meanwhile, the 2026 Social Security cost of living adjustment came in at 2.5%. Your house is being taxed like it is 2026. Your income is rising like it is a rounding error. The relief comes in 4 shapes, and the names matter because you have to ask for them correctly. An exemption subtracts value before the tax is calculated. In Texas, homeowners 65 and older get an additional $10,000 school district exemption, and once you add local taxing units, combined senior reductions commonly total $60,000 or more. A freeze locks your assessed value, or in some cases, the tax dollar amount itself, so your bill stops climbing with the market. Texas has an over 65 school tax ceiling that freezes the actual dollar amount you pay. In Cook County, Illinois, the senior freeze locks your equalized assessed value if household income is under $75,000. Then there are income-based credits. New York's Enhanced Star covers homeowners 65 and up with income under $98,700 as of 2026. And many New York counties add a separate senior citizens exemption on top that cuts assessed value by 20 to 50%. South Carolina exempts the first $50,000 of fair market value for qualifying seniors. Look at that New York income figure again, $98,700. That is not a poverty program. That is most retired households in the state, and the enrollment gap there is enormous. And 4th, deferrals, which let you postpone the tax entirely. Those come with real trade-offs against your estate, and I would not touch one without talking to family first. Here is the call to make. Your county assessor's office. Ask by name for 3 things: the senior exemption, the senior freeze, and any deferral program. Ask what the filing deadline is, because deadlines on these are hard, and missing one costs you the full year. and ask whether it is retroactive, because in some jurisdictions it is. That is one phone call. In a lot of counties, it is worth more per minute than anything else you will do this year. Number 1 is federal income tax on your retirement income, and this is the one where the numbers stack in a way almost nobody has actually run. Start with the baseline. For 2026, the standard deduction is $16,100 for a single filer and $32,200 for a married couple filing jointly. Then add the age-based amount that has existed for decades, an extra $2,050 for a single senior, or $1,650 per qualifying spouse for a married couple, and then, on top of both of those, the new one. The 2025 tax law created a bonus deduction for people 65 and older worth up to $6,000 per person, $12,000 for a couple where both spouses are 65 or over. It stacks. It does not replace anything. And it applies whether you itemize or take the standard deduction, which is unusual and which is why so many people assume it cannot apply to them. It phases out above a modified adjusted gross income of $75,000 for singles and $150,000 for joint filers, and disappears entirely above $175,000 and $250,000 respectively. Now watch what happens when you stack all three. Take a couple in their late 60s with $45,000 of income, say an IRA withdrawal, a small pension, and some other income. Standard deduction plus the 65 plus addition plus the $12,000 bonus. Their taxable income drops to zero on $45,000. That is not a loophole, and it is not aggressive. It is the deduction working exactly as written for a household that would otherwise have paid tax, and in a lot of cases did pay tax, because the return got filed without it. 2 warnings on this one. It is temporary. Under current law, it applies to tax years 2025 through 2028, and then expires unless Congress acts. Use it while it is there, and do not build a 10-year plan around it continuing. And check the current year's Form 1040 instructions for exactly where it goes, or have whoever prepares your return confirm it. If you filed for 2025 without it and you qualified, an amended return is on the table. That is a conversation worth having with a preparer, not a decision to make from a video. So here is the single thing to do, and I am going to give you 1, not 5, because 5 things is how nothing gets done. Call your state health insurance assistance program your SHIP. Every state has one. It is free, and the counselors do not sell insurance or take commissions. That one call screens you for the Medicare savings programs, which pulls extra help in automatically, which is items 3 and 4 handled in a single conversation. They will point you to Lifeline, and a good counselor will tell you exactly who to call at your county for the property tax exemption. 1 call, 4 of the 5. The 5th one, the tax deduction, happens at filing time, so write it on whatever you hand your preparer. Every one of these programs has an enrollment gap in the millions, not because the money ran out and not because anybody decided seniors should not have it, because the system was built so that the entitlement exists quietly and waits for you to reach for it. 9 million people, $58 billion, sitting in accounts that already have their names attached. It is not hidden. It has just never been announced. And while you have your Social Security paperwork out for any of this, there is one line on your earnings statement that decides the size of every check you will ever receive, and the errors on it are more common than anyone at the agency will volunteer. If you were born before 1960, that line is worth checking before you do anything else on this list, because every program we just covered is calculated off a benefit amount, and if that amount is wrong, everything downstream of it is wrong too. Check the number first, then make the call. If you think this video is helpful, consider pressing the like button. It's free, and it helps me keep making these. And remember to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next one.